Hello, hello, evening, one and all. Welcome. How everybody doing?
Pretty good.
We're good. We're good. How you going?
I am good. I am good. I am very good. Better than most. I don't
Yeah.
like my lighting.
Yeah. I don't like
Hello,
your light.
engineer. Could you
Yeah.
turn on that light for me, please? Not you. My engineer over in my studio here, sir.
Have an engineer in your studio.
Yes.
They up there. They available for hire. What they doing?
No. Those
Like
are
a
my
hire.
workers. Miss Forrester, how are you doing today? How are you
I'm
doing?
well. How are you? Hi,
I
Bernard.
am good. I am
Hi,
good.
how you doing?
A little pressure, but I like high pressure situations. Mr. Campbell,
Yes, sir.
how are you doing this evening?
Amazing. I'm blessed.
Thank you
Couldn't
so
be
much.
more
Thank you
blessed.
so much for joining us.
That's the energy we
Mr.
need.
Archer from Muzilog, how are you doing this evening,
Yeah.
sir?
Yeah. I had a very important appointment this morning. So I do have.
OBGYN?
No, not that kind. Not that
Not that.
kind.
Okay.
I will tell you when that one happening. But for right now, I had to get Novocaine in my system now. So I need vibes tonight, I need
Hold on.
Novocaine.
I understand the purpose of Novocaine, but I've never quite heard anyone put it in that fashion.
Yeah.
Getting Novocaine in your system.
Yeah. Well, they had to work on the mouth today now.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you had
Yeah.
some dental procedures. Well, say that, no man. Cut the thing short.
Yeah, they
It's every
inject
other.
me up and thing. They juke me up, juke
Oh,
up my mouth, all kind of thing.
I thought it's
But
some intravenous Novocaine. I was
but
worried.
you remember the movie with Orlando, what his name?
Bloom? Which Orlando?
Yeah, Daisy Orlando Bloom, and he says there's always time for lubrication. Remember that? He says there's always time for lubrication in one of those movies.
No,
You don't remember?
no, not at all.
So at least what they did, the dentist was nice enough to lubricate me with some kind of gel first, and then they bust the injection in my tail.
Okay, so everything's okay right now.
I'm recovering.
Okay.
I'm recovering, but I
So
gotta live.
you won't be falling asleep on us, drifting off, none of that.
I might, because you know how it is. But we gonna see how it, we gonna see how it working.
Okay.
Because money is a subject that gets me excited too. So that we hear about business, money, and business, and those things is a very exciting type of a thing.
Okay. So we have a guest with us tonight who's very versed, very well informed, very well educated. I noticed he said advisor at the end of his name there tonight, and I hope that he has some pertinent information that he can advise us with or of. Well, we're not quite sure. Good night, Lucy O'Brien. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Lucy. So what we're doing right now, Bernard, in case you're wondering, it's just a little warm-up conversation. Make sure everyone's mic is working right. And as I speak to you, my mic wasn't even plugged in. Natty S, good night to you. How are you doing?
And we want to encourage people to hit the like button.
Yes.
And love, and please share. Good night, Natty S. Shout out to you.
If you find any info, go ahead.
No, I just said, and Lucy. I just wanted to greet the folks tonight,
Okay. So what we are going to do, we're going to jump over on the other side, take care of some business. And then we're going to come right back and get the ball rolling.
I totally agree. You agree with that, Karin? You agree with that?
Run the tape.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. Bantu Creations can be found on IG and on Facebook as Bantu Creations. That's Bantu Creations with a K.
Check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cutt from Music by Tom Cutt. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, beat.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
And we are back. Tonight, we want to talk about some business. Let us talk about some business. Some time ago, I read a statement that says, did I read it or did I hear it? I think I actually heard someone say that overtime is a bribe that they pay you to put your dreams on hold. For those of us who just happen to be stuck in a 9-to-5 job situation, have you ever had something planned for the weekend and your supervisor asked you to work on that particular weekend? Time and a half, they say, with a smile. And before you know it, you're doing the calculations in your mind, counting just how much more money you'll be making in addition to your paycheck. Forgetting that Uncle Sam is going to reach his hand into your money and take out what he deems belongs to him. And just like that, you cancel whatever plans you had to work on your own dream, or to work on your own business, or to attend that seminar you've been planning to go to for over 6 months. In everyone's life, you build a dream, people. Remember that. In every one of us here is building a dream. Be careful whose dream you're building. You see, your business and your dream has to become a priority in your life, because no one else is going to manifest them for you. The clock is ticking, people. Do not allow time to run out before you begin to mind your own business. With us tonight is real estate broker, real estate investor, real estate advisor, Mr. Bernard Campbell. Bernard, please tell us, how long have you been involved in real estate, and what was it that made you choose this field?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Curtis Henry. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Karin. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Bernard Campbell, as Curtis Henry mentioned, and I've been in real estate as a licensed agent for 12 years, and on the investment side for another 8 years. So that put me at about 20 years in the business overall. I chose real estate because I wanted more freedom. I wanted more time. I wanted to buy back my time. I wanted to have more control over my time. And I wanted to spend more time with my family. And I chose real estate as the arena to create that life, to fund that thing that I'm after. But after years, it became a little bit more than that, because I realized, why keep the information to myself, right? Why keep it to myself? Why not share it with others? Because, you know, we wake up every single day at, some of us, 5 o'clock, and rush to a job. And at some point, you have to stop and ask yourself, when is this going to stop? You know, there's something wrong. Is this it to life for me? And that's the question I ask myself. And through research and being around the right people, that question was answered. And real estate is the arena I found myself in to answer those questions and solve those problems. That's a long answer.
No, it's exactly, you had a lot of information packed in there, because it may have been a personal situation for you, but there are many people who will eventually hear the broadcast, might be at that very same crossroads in their life, and looking for that out, looking for something to do, have no idea where to turn to. And according to you, what you told us, real estate is a good venue to be in. A couple years ago, we had the coronavirus scare, which ultimately grew into the COVID-19 pandemic. And just when everyone started feeling a bit safe, now we have this Russia-Ukraine situation. So let me ask you something, Bernard. In these trying and turbulent times, is real estate a safe place to, should I say, utilize or park your money?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Real estate will always be a great place to park your money. The deal just happened the other day and took down 150 units. Can't tell you how much that went for, but it was in South Carolina. And it just happened maybe 2 weeks ago. So folks are still purchasing a lot of real estate. It's still happening, and folks still making a lot of money. A lot of folks are making a lot more money now, because, I mean, if we have a situation where things get expensive, all we do is just raise our prices. That's all. I'm a landlord. I just increase my rent. That's it. I can increase $300, $400, and if you decide not to continue with the lease, I just rent to someone else. So, of course, real estate will always be a great place to play. Airbnb, being a landlord. If you want to invest in commercial real estate, like the apartment buildings, I stay away from shopping malls now, for the mere fact that I think coronavirus kind of pushed a lot of folks out of the shopping mall, shopping plaza. When I say shopping mall, I'm talking commercial real estate like stores, small plazas, because a lot of folks are working from home now. So I think that area is kind of risky. So let's go and stick with the multifamily, where everyone has to go home. But it's an amazing place to park your funds, of course. Absolutely, because you must go home every night, but you can't go home to an app on your phone. But everyone has to go home. Even trailer park, even a mobile home parks, that's real estate. Everything is real estate. You drive down the street, it's real estate. You go to work, that's real estate. Whether you work at a shopping mall, that's real estate. Everywhere you look is all real estate around you. So
we throw that word around loosely. Why? I believe I asked this question at some earlier part of another show. Why do we refer to it as real estate? What's real about it? Why not just property? Why not just homes? And why real? What is real about real estate? Why they use that word?
That's a great question. So, for example, you look at stocks, right, and bonds and that type of thing. Stocks, it's tangible. So if you have stocks in Apple, you know, you probably own, like, in the grand scheme of everything, something small. It's not intangible. But real estate is something you can touch. So when we refer to real estate, we're not just talking about single family home. We're talking about apartment buildings. We're talking about an empty lot. We're talking about a piece of land, and it's tangible. You can touch it. It's actually real. And you can look at it and point at it and say, you know what, I own that. You can transfer it, you can deed it to someone, you can do whatever you want with it. So it's a real property that you actually have that you can actually see, as opposed to stock and bonds. That's just you purchasing a share in someone's company, but you can't actually hold on to it. So it's real. It's a real tangible product that you can touch.
So Bernard, you don't have to say how much, but when you spoke about the thing that happened 2 weeks ago in North Carolina, I noticed you had a smile. Like I believe the smile said it all. What, without saying too much, what does that smile translate?
It was a great deal.
Don't hide the money, brother. Don't hide the money. Don't hide the money.
Don't mention the numbers, but give us something to touch.
We want something real, huh?
Was this something? Okay, you said you were involved in this deal. Was this something personal or just something you were brokering?
No, it's actually when you purchase apartment building, there's something called syndication, right? Where a group of investors come together and purchase real estate. A group of investors come together. They call it a syndication because I mean, if I look at a piece of real estate and I can't afford to purchase it for $15 million, if I join up with a couple other guys, we might be able to take it down for 15 million, right? By putting funds together, throwing funds together and purchase it at that price, as opposed to passing up on the opportunity. So it was an opportunity through research and looking all over, and the opportunity showed up, and it was a great opportunity. So it's out there, but the general public doesn't know about it. That get up and goes.
Was it a great opportunity for you? Is what I was trying to figure out.
Absolutely, it was a great opportunity for me and whoever was involved. Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
So before we run away, I want to find this out. For you to make that first step into real estate, that very, very first step, was there something holding you back? Was there some sort of distraction that had you at the junction? Like you were at the junction, should I go left? Should I go right? What was the thing that toppled your right foot to take that step into real estate?
There's always going to be fear, right? There's always going to be fear. I'm telling you right now. However, you can't allow fear to hold you back. You can still feel afraid, but still do the thing, right? If you're jumping out of an aircraft, you still look down. You say, "Oh, wow, it's scary down there," and you're nervous, but you're still going to make the leap, even though you are afraid. So, yes, of course, you'll always be afraid, and it takes some time sometimes for you to get past the fear. But as Suzanne Jeffers says, you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. What makes me overcome fear is that I know it has been done before, and it has done multiple times before. So just by looking at someone that actually did it, and I saw those results, and looked at multiple people that actually did it, and I saw those results, I went ahead and took the leap as well, with hope and that everything would be okay. So that's it's fear. You're going to be afraid. You're going to be uncomfortable doing anything. I mean, even your first day as a doctor operating on someone, or even getting behind a wheel, you're going to be afraid. But it becomes a problem when you allow the fear to hold you back. It's a serious problem. But if you feel that fear, but say, you know what, I'm still going in, just go in. And I realized I had to learn. It was a process. I didn't do it overnight, but it was a process for me. And ultimately, you just keep doing it until it becomes a new normal.
Okay.
So this is a question I often hear floating around. Does someone need to become a real estate agent in order to become a real estate investor?
That's a great question. Does someone need to become a real estate agent in order to become a real estate investor? Absolutely not. A matter of fact, most folks would advise you, most top real estate would advise you not to become a real estate agent in order to become a real estate investor, because when you are a real estate agent, you're held to a different standards and you have to disclose a lot of information to the client, right? Because you're held to a different standard. You have a license, you have to disclose, saying I'm a real estate agent, because there are things that you know as a real estate agent that the general public doesn't know. And because of that, you have somewhat of an advantage over clients, over folks that's looking to sell their property. So I would say a lot of real estate investors allow their real estate license to lapse so they don't have to disclose anything, so they don't have to held to that standard. So absolutely not. You don't need to be a real estate investor. You don't have to be a real estate agent to be a real estate investor.
Okay, so, but it's quite okay. From what I noticed, you said you just have to divulge this information.
Yes.
If you are an agent, you just have to divulge the information and let that individual know that you are in fact an agent.
Yes, correct. You just have to let them know. Yes, absolutely. You have to disclose that information, because if you don't, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble. But a lot of real estate investors just don't want to deal with, they don't plan on dealing with they don't want to be that liaison between a buyer and seller. They're just looking for good deals. And if they find a good deal, they'll buy it and flip it or do whatever they want to do. They want to do whatever their plan is with real estate, whether it's a wholesale real estate or whether it's to just buy property and fix it up and flip it to someone else, or just buy them and rent them out. You don't need a real estate license to do that.
Okay.
So if you had to recommend something to a new investor, what type of strategies would you say, like 5 or 6 steps? What would you suggest that the person follow? What type of guidelines would you give to a new investor?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the most important thing in any business, I will tell you right now, is 95%. And it may sound cliche, I'll tell you right now, but the 95% of what folks need to do is to get their mindset right. Because most of the time we're the one that's getting in our way. We're the one that's getting in our way. I know guys that started real estate 3 years ago and they make $13,000 a day. Guy by the name of Max Maxwell. If you go online,
you're not gonna see it. No, you're not gonna slip that one by so quickly. I need for you to repeat that for us, please.
Yeah, guys started.
Yeah, that was a fine point. You started to talk really fast there. Slow down on that one for me, please.
Yeah.
There's some guys.
There are a lot of guys out there that started real estate less than 2-3 years ago, and they're making $13,000 a day. They're making their own $7 million in real estate, and I'm talking less than 4 years ago.
Bernard, I haven't made 13,000 in a day. I have never made 13,000 in a week. I have never made 30,000 in a month. You telling me right now that if I was to throw my hat in the ring and get involved in real estate investment, that there is a potential. I'm not saying a guarantee. There is the potential that I could be earning. Well, everything goes up. So we're not even talking 13. By the time I'm ready and I'm inside, we're talking $15,000, $16,000 in a 24-hour period of time.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey,
absolutely.
My Nigerian roots coming back out. Hey,
and you'll be a multi-millionaire, because to make $1 million a year, all you have to make is $2,796 a day. And if you make $2,796 a day, if you make that every day for a month, you'll make $83,333. $83,333 times 12 is $1 million. So I already work out the math and figure that stuff out, and then work the equation backwards to become a millionaire. Like, you can figure the math out. So you can work it out to the T, and you look at yourself and say, okay, how can I make $2,796 a day? And you come up with different multiple stream of income where you can make that. I chose real estate, right? I chose real estate, and then work it backwards. So you work the math backwards. So if you make $124 an hour, that will total 2,700.
It's getting hot in here, Bernard. It's getting hot in here. Keep talking. Keep.
So Bernard, there was a question posed, but I think
go through that equation. I've heard him do this equation before. Let me hear those numbers.
Oh, okay.
Let me hear those numbers you were working there. Then we will get to Georgia K's question.
Okay, do the numbers and we'll address the question.
Right. So if you make $62 every 30 minutes or $31 every 15 minutes, that's still $1 million a year, right? It's not a lot. But when we look at $1 million, it sounds daunting. It looks daunting, right? It's scary. So, $1 million. Well, if you check it out, $1 million is not really a lot of money after you kind of make it. You're like, okay, nothing happens. If you become a millionaire tomorrow, you'll be like, okay, this is $1 million. Okay, I got $1 million. There's no confetti. Your neighbors probably don't even know, right? They won't. No, they won't. They won't. Believe me.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then you come up with ways out. How can I accelerate this money? And then what was your goal? You probably say, okay, I want to purchase this nice house or a nice car. But when you after a while, you continue to build wealth, you realize, listen, how can I teach this? That's the reason why a lot of folks become coaches and so forth, because they want to teach it to other people, right? But as you said, I don't want to get away from the point that the question that you asked me. But the original question that you asked me was, take me back. What was the question regarding? I gave you the example of.
You said get your mind right. That was the most important thing.
Yes, the mindset. So you have to get your mind right. Some mindset thing. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's a mindset thing, and a lot of people allow themselves to hold themselves. They get in their way. But I learned one thing. I learned it a long time. A lot of people reduce their lifestyle to meet their income, right? They reduce their lifestyle to meet their income. But how about you increase your income to meet your lifestyle? And when you reduce your lifestyle to meet your income, what you do is settle, and you settle for less because you're saying, I can't afford this. And you're asking the question the wrong way. So if you say, I can't afford this versus asking yourself, how can I afford this? Right? You'll find ways to afford it. So it's the question that you ask yourself. And so, like I said, it comes down to mindset. And as long as you stay around the same people that you've always been around, you'll always be like the people that you've been around.
So we had a question in the chat real quick, but I feel it may need a little definition there. So someone is asking, you think real estate is a good business idea? I am just Georgia. That's
I'm just Georgia K.
Georgia K. Okay.
If I think real estate is a great business idea.
A good business idea.
A good business idea. Yes, it is. It's a good business idea. Most people are successful. A lot of successful people invest in real estate. I heard Kevin Hart said the other day to Grant Cardone, who is a guru here in South Florida. He owns something like, I think he owns 4,000 units. He said that he invests in real estate, Kevin Hart, and then all the other successful folks that I've met, including the top brokers, invest in real estate. So they use real estate as a vehicle to build wealth. Like imagine, right? You own 4 homes on your block. Wherever you live in Fort Lauderdale or wherever you are in New York, if you own 4 properties, you're a millionaire, because most of the single family homes in Broward County is over 300,000 now. So if you own those 3-4 properties outright, you have $1.2 million in real estate. So of course it's going to be a great business idea. Absolutely. And you have nothing to lose either.
You spoke about syndication, but syndication sounds more like the high-end way of things. What about for the person starting out? About financial support to start that first investment.
How much money do they have?
What avenues would you suggest they access in order to start their investment?
How much money do they have?
I don't know. You tell me what's a good starting.
Right. So that's a loaded question. So if someone is starting out and they have, let's say, $100,000, they can start buying properties and renting them out. You can do something called house hacking, right? So you buy a fourplex. So we have 4 windows open. We have 4 windows open right now. We have Samuel, we have Curtis, we have Karin, and myself. So what I'll do, I get a fourplex, and I buy a fourplex because a fourplex is considered residential, right? Anything over 4 units is considered commercial. Okay. So since this is a fourplex, what I'll do, I'll buy this fourplex right here, and then I would live in the one where I am now. You see my box, right? I'm in that box, right? Can you see the square? Are you folks all seeing the same thing?
Yes.
Right? Not the square, but the rectangle. Right. So I'm in this box right here. So I live in this box right here, and I rent out the other 3 spaces to everyone that's sitting in their box right now. And what I can do ultimately is to move out of that box, but I have to purchase something else first over there. And once I move over there, I can then move out of this box and then rent it out. And it's just repeat the same thing over there. But what a lot of folks do, they purchase a big house, which is the worst thing you can ever do, folks. Your house is an asset. Your house is an asset. You have this big house and think you're rich. No, you're not. No, you're not. I know people that's renting right now that owns 30 properties. Anything that takes money out of your pocket and not putting in money in your pocket is a liability. Okay? If it's putting money in your pocket and you have a cash flow, that is an asset. But your house is taking money out of your pocket and you're holding on to this house and I have this big house. And it's a liability. It's costing you money. But why not house hack? Get a fourplex. Live in this one where I am right now. Rent out the other 3. And once you rent out the other 3, you slowly move out of that unit, purchase another one, and then rent that one out. So you have a fourplex now with 4 different tenants in there while you're moving over to that one, while this one cash flow and pay for the other one. And you just repeat the same thing and do it all over again. That's it. I bought a fourplex back in 2015 for what? $230,000 in Lauderhill. The damn thing went all the way up to $500,000.
Wow.
Amen.
Amen. Fourplex. You paid for itself, and I pulled the money out that I put in, so I just owned it. The money that I put in, the deposit that I put down, I refinanced it and pull it out.
So tell me this. I keep hearing this term about investing with no money. Is investing with no money a myth, or is that something that's actually practical for someone to do?
Yeah, you don't need any money to money to own real estate. It's a myth. You can actually go invest tomorrow and not have any money, because what happens is that if a seller owns a property outright, right, the seller can give you control of that property, right, of that property to rent that property out by just completing some paperwork and going to a title company, and you take control of that property. And it's so silly because I've heard this so many times, and I didn't believe it. Like, why would someone sell their property for a lot less than how much the market is asking for? Because a lot of people they're a slave in their home and they can't get out. The roof is all damaged, and they can't fix it, and they have plumbing issue. So here's what you can do. You can find that person and solve that problem. Because remember, if you're not in the world solving problems, you're really just here taking up space, right? Would you agree with me, everyone? Are we good on that?
Yeah, it's problem solving, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone here goes to work every single day to solve a problem. Whether you're working with the city and you're trying to help folks, or you're working at a restaurant and you're trying to feed folks, whatever you're doing, or you helping someone, an elderly person, or whatever you're doing, you're solving someone's problem. And that's exactly what I do. So basically, you solve folks' problems. So person has a bad roof and has a plumbing issue. You make an offer on the property. Why? Because they cannot sell a property. No one can purchase that property with a conventional loan or a FHA loan. Not at all, because the bank is not going to finance it. There's too much liability and the property is pretty much damaged. So you can go in and purchase that property through a hard money lender. You don't have the money, but you find a deal. That guy over there has $25 million. They're all over Broward County. He has $5 million. He has $3 million. You don't need a social security number. You don't need good credit. I'll say that again. You don't need good credit. That hard money lender will lend you the money. Why would he take the risk? Because if you hold the property as collaterals. So if anything goes wrong and you fix up the property, you don't have the money or whatever happens with the property, you'll come and take it back. So you borrow that guy's money, purchase the property, and then get some funds also to fix it up. And once you fix it up now, then you can take that property and sell it. And once you sell it, he gets his money back, and you get the difference that goes in your pocket, the spread and the Karin and everything like that. Hard money lenders, look it up.
Georgia K had a question there. Put that up for Sam. She said, okay, let's say someone have $50,000 for a down payment. What's best for that person, getting a single family or getting an apartment? A single or multifamily, I guess she's asking.
What's best?
Yeah, with a $50,000 investment. Is it better to get a single family or multifamily unit?
There are a lot of investors out there. There's some that purchase condos. There's some investors purchase single family homes. There are some investors that purchase multifamily homes. My point for saying that is that everyone criteria, folks have different criteria in this market, right? Some people are okay with just getting a single family home. And that's okay. Or you can get a multifamily. But the goal and the objective is to own as much doors as possible. So the person asked that question, I would say to you, the goal and the objective is to own as much doors as possible. I'll say to your guests, if you own that one single family home, guest, and the property become vacant, you're 100% vacant. Aren't you? Of course, because that one tenant left. What if you own a fourplex, right? We have one there, we have Mr. Samuel, we have Curtis, Karin, and myself sitting in a fourplex. If Samuel moves out, we still have Curtis and Karin to collect the rent from, to pay for the entire mortgage of the property until we go ahead and fill in Samuel's space. Okay, so I'm going to suggest to you, it's best to have more doors, as much doors as possible. In this case, I have 3 doors, and I don't call my door until I move out. So basically, you can say you have 3 doors or 4 doors as soon as you move out, 4 doors. And another thing, if you have to change the roof on a single family home, right? 1 door. It's the same as changing the same roof, 1 roof on a fourplex. Samuel, Curtis, Karin, and myself live in this fourplex, 4 family home. Same number, right? But I'm getting more money. I'm getting a larger cash flow if I purchase it right. If I have 4 doors. So it's always good to have as much doors as possible and not just 1. Unless you just want to have 1 door. I want to have more. I want to have as much doors as possible. 10,000, 20,000 doors. I know a guy in Jersey has 12,000 doors. Wouldn't you want 12,000 doors versus 1? So I'd say get a fourplex. Get as much doors as possible.
So let's take someone like me, for instance. I'm approaching 60 years old. Does it make much sense to invest in buying a property at this stage in life?
Yes, it makes sense. It makes sense. Probably your risk tolerance is not going to be as high as someone that's in your 20s, because now if you lose it, you don't have that much time because you have more years behind you than in front of you. So your risk tolerance will be a lot less. But of course, absolutely, because at some point you have to find yourself in a position where you have enough income so later on you can actually take care of yourself, right? So it's good to purchase real estate anytime, but your risk tolerance will be just a lot less. That's all.
A little side question here. What is the difference if someone can buy a property outright or they get a mortgage? So, but they get a mortgage, meaning that they could buy the whole thing, but they put just enough to sort of adjust the type of mortgage they want. What is the advantage and disadvantages of having an active mortgage on a property versus where you just purchase the property outright? Is there an advantage there?
Great question. So purchase one property, have all the money into one property, or just own everything outright. Here's the thing, dumping all your money in one property. And some folks will disagree with me, and some will say, okay, will agree with me as well. Like Dave Ramsey doesn't believe in debt at all. If you ever heard of the name Dave Ramsey, anyone here heard of Dave Ramsey? Yes, he does. He doesn't believe in debt at all. He does not believe you should own any debt whatsoever. And I believe that we should not own debt if the debt is not towards an investment that's improving the quality of your life, my life, and everyone around me, right? So if you're gonna use debt to purchase a car, that's not a good thing, or to purchase an outfit or something that's not going to put money back in your pocket, that's a bad debt. But if you can, instead of purchasing a property for, let's say, $300,000, what if you can purchase two properties, right? And then spread that money out, and then you own two doors, or take that $300,000 and purchase three properties and spread that money out over three properties. You will be receiving income from all three properties. And when the market appreciates like it appreciates now, then you can possibly sell that property and then take the money and parlay that money into another venture. Right? But I don't like the idea of having all your eggs in one basket. I don't like that idea. And that's just me. And a lot of folks agree with me as well. And it's the same thing with single family homes. Some guys just don't like the idea of having 12 single family homes. They would rather have a 12-unit apartment building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So one of the advantages to owning real estate is the tax advantage and also the appreciation, because properties do go up. So if you buy it right, you have to buy it right. Once you buy it right and it appreciates, you can enjoy the benefit of that by selling the property or doing a 1031 exchange, roll that property, sell that property, and roll that by the 1031 exchange. You're not paying taxes on it, right? You just roll it into another property and just defer that tax. So you're saving on taxes. So one of the biggest things that investors save on is taxes. Like if Donald Trump is not paying single digit in taxes, he's doing something wrong. So I know how much his taxes. I don't have to ask him. But as an investor, I didn't know that.
How long can you defer on that type of rollover?
6 months. You can. No. You have 6 months from the time you sell to purchase something, but you can defer as long as you want.
Okay.
So, but what I'm saying
I'm going off.
I know. But I understand putting your eggs in one basket and all of that. But what I'm saying, so having an active mortgage is a little bit better than just purchasing something outright.
Right. I mean, you don't want to own a property for $300,000 and no mortgage. You don't want that, because if you want to grow wealth, you can put a mortgage on the property and then purchase 2 or 3 other properties. Understand? And then collect and rent those properties out and collect rent from those properties. So the goal and the objective is to look at your money as soldiers. So when you pull that money out, you put those soldiers out in the field to work for you. And the more money those soldiers, which I'm referring to the money as soldiers, the harder that money works, the harder those soldiers work, is the more money you get. So you have to look at your money as soldiers, but you have to put them to work. That's the reason why you let your money to go to work for you. You have to look at your money as a real person. I have some money over here. I have some money over here. What do you got? All right, we got $700 right here, right? Right. And I look at this money right here as soldiers, right? Yes.
That's just pitiful. Don't do it again.
I look at this money as soldiers, right? So you can actually say, okay, how hard I'm going to let this money work for me? How can I double this money, and how fast can I do it? And what vehicle can I put this money in to double it or quadruple this money? So I take that money and deploy it over into, I say, okay, I'm going to use $100 to do something and use another 100 to do something. use another 100 here to do something, and then, you know, I have it in 7 different vehicles, right? Say real estate, and then they're all spitting money back at me, and I have 7 properties that's appreciating in price, as opposed to Mr. Samuel Archer putting the money in 1 property. You understand? So they all go up and appreciate in value, and then I can sell that property, right? And then deploy that money into something bigger. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Who, me or Karin?
You.
Yeah, you answered the question.
Karin, did I answer your question?
No, I'm fine. Oh, I'm good. Yes.
So, Mr. B, in reference to buying and selling property, when does someone actually make money in real estate? When you sell or when you buy?
You actually make the money. You actually make the money when you buy the property. You actually make the money when you buy.
Explain that to me.
Great. That's a good question, because here's the thing, right? That a lot of successful people do, right? They constantly check their net worth, right? They check their net worth a lot, and I see a property for, let's say the market value of the property, let's say, is $300,000. The retail value is $300,000. If I can pick up that property for $150 and I close on the deal, as soon as I close on that deal, my net worth just went up $150,000. So you don't want to buy the property. Here's what the mistake that a lot of people made in the past. In 2005, remember when the market went up, when the market crashed? Because what happened?
That was around 2008.
Okay, all right. So it really happened in 2005.
I think it was 05.
But a lot of people didn't see it.
Okay. But we felt it in 2008 with Enron and all of them.
Right, and Hurricane Wilma and Enron and all that other stuff. But we knew it was coming. We felt it already. So what happened is they purchased real estate, and they didn't do the numbers. They didn't see how the property is going to cash flow. They didn't check anything at all. They just purchased something to rent it out. And I learned something in real estate, that you do not want to fall in love with the real estate, right? You don't want to fall in love with the house. A house is nothing but 4 walls and a roof. That's it, right? You want to fall in love with the ROI. The ROI is a return on investment. So you definitely want to do a math problem, right? See how much the market value of the property is, how much you can rent it out for, see how much your cash flow will be. And once you figure that out, then you can go ahead and purchase that particular property, right? So it's very important that folks understand that, you know, I said you purchase a property for $300,000, you for $450,000, but the true value is $300,000. You just made the $150,000, so you made that money when you first purchased the property. But what I don't do is purchase property with the anticipation that the market is going to go up. Because if I purchase a property for $300,000 and that's the market value, I really didn't make anything. If not, I overpaid for the property because the market value is $300,000, right? And I paid $300,000 for it. How much did I make? $0. I made $0 on that property, right? So what if the market goes down now? I'm not in an equity position. I'm on the water with that property. So I'm going to have to hold on to sell the property, or I'm going to have to pay out of my pocket to sell the property, because if I purchase it at $300,000 here and the market drops to $250,000, I'm on the water now. And that's what happened to a lot of folks in 2005. So once that happened and the investors see it, there are a lot of guys went out and the bank was selling them a bunch of property. Guys, hey, give me 10,000 you brought those single family homes. And a guy purchased 10,000 of them. Another guy said, give me 5,000. So all these people or properties are going to these guys for 30, 40 cents on the dollar. So those guys scrape up those property and sell them back later on, and they're able to retire and go live on a ranch somewhere in Nevada. So you definitely make money when you purchase the property. And then if the market appreciates or whenever it appreciates, that's just gravy. You're just adding more money to that.
For someone who buys, whether we're talking about a a quad or a larger multi-level property, how do you find qualified property managers, people to maintain your property? You're here in Florida, so do you have any input on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to find, and that's a great question, because a lot of these multifamily units or these larger apartment buildings and these homes here, it's because of poor property management. That's why a lot of those units, yeah, it is pro property, because the goal and the objective, right, is always to, if I can purchase an apartment building, all right, my goal is to bring down the expenses and increase income, right? Because remember, right, when you purchase a multifamily, and a multifamily, guys, could be a 5-unit, it can be a 10-unit or a 15-unit. So when you purchase a multifamily, it's not based on comps, it's based on the income of the property, as opposed to a single family home or a condo. That's based on comps, right? Comparables, right? Comparables. They look at a property across the street, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and then you have another unit next to it, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. The comparables, you look at it and you say, okay, this one worth X, and this one is the same condition, worth X, is the same thing, has 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in the same condition. You determine the price on that, right? That way, by the comparables, as opposed to multifamily. If you can take a property that has been mismanaged by the management office, okay, purchase it, and then get a strong management team in there, and then facelift. In real estate, in multifamily commercial real estate, 10 units, you have something called value add. Look for properties that need some attention. You might want to just paint it up, put in, if the pool is closed, you just open back up the pool, make it really nice. The complex is dark, you put in some lighting on the outside, and just bring up the price. And once you do that and you make it look attractive, you raise the rent. And once you raise the rent, the value of the property goes up, because remember, it's based on income and how much income the property produces. So you can now raise the rent, and you'll be surprised, $150 rent can make you millions of dollars, and you can sell that back in less than a year, and you're making $500,000, $600,000 in profit in a year. So
how do you find a qualified management team? That's really what I'm asking.
Referral. You ask someone who's in the business or you're in the field. It's always good to ask someone, hey, what management team are you using? Who are you using as your management team? Who manages your property? You do not want someone that manages a 20 unit to manage a 100 unit, and you do not want someone that manages a 100 unit to manage a 20 unit. So if you have a 20 unit, you always want to speak to folks in your circle. That's why it's always important when you start investing in real estate, you go to RIA, a real estate investment association, where folks of the same, who have the same goal and objective, that's in the process, that's in the field every single day, that's doing deals. You can have a conversation with them. Hey, who are you using as your contractor? Who are you using as your management team? Who do you use as a person an inspector to inspect your property? Who do you use as a roofer? So it's always good to hire someone through a referral, but never just go hire someone off the street who you don't know the type of work that they do.
Thank you.
So Bernard, tell us, I know within everything there are rules. Tell us a couple of rules when it comes to real estate investing rather. A couple of rules that we should follow, or that you would recommend that we follow when it comes to investing. The percentages, 1% and 5%. These are things I caught wind of. What are these rules that they talk about? This 2% rule and the 10% rule and the 1% rule, and what is that about?
All right, that's a good question. So, for example, it's always good to have a benchmark or some type of yardstick to gauge your transaction and figure out deals. It's always good, right? For example, if you're going to purchase a property, to rent it out. There's something called the 1% rule. And the 1% rule pretty much says this. Let's say the property is $100,000. $100,000 for the property. 1% of 100,000 is, of course, $1,000. So if you can't rent out that property for at least $1,000 or more, it would be a risky deal. I'm not saying don't look at the deal, but it would be risky, right? Because at least you're getting 1% of the entire amount. So, and it's something I've always used. It's just risky to get involved in a deal that you pay to purchase. It's risky to rent out a property for $1,000 that you pay $100,000 for, because your money will be not your money won't be working as hard. So if you want your money to work really hard, I'll say absolutely you want to definitely use the 1% rule. Now, if you can get the 2% rule, that's even better. Can you imagine purchasing a property for $100,000 and renting it out for $2,000 a month? You purchase a property for $100,000 and you rent it out for $2,000 a month. That's your money working really, really hard for you. Because in 5 years you'll be, how much is that? In 10 months, that's what? 20,000. That's 24,000. 24,000 in less than 5 years, you'll pay off that property. You'll pay off that property.
5 years.
Yeah, in 5 years, you'll pay off $100,000 property, and that's a good deal. I remember I picked up a unit. I picked up a unit in Lauderhill for $41,000, and the rent was $1,100. It was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. So that was a great opportunity. So that's a rule. So you have your 1% rule, you have your 2% rule, you have something called your ARV, after repair value. So you purchase a property for, let's say, $100,000, but let's say a property is $100,000. Okay, your goal and objective is to purchase this property with a lot of equity or a lot of meat on the bone. That's what they refer to as equity, right? A lot of meat on the bone. You just don't want to buy a property with bones. You want to purchase a property with a lot of meat on the bone. So you purchase this property for $100,000. Now you want to subtract 30% right away. Take off 30% right away, because when you sell that property, you want to sell that property with a lot of meat on the bone, right? So you purchase for $100,000. A matter of fact, let's say the property in the market is worth $100,000. You purchase it for $50,000. I'm going to do that math for you. See if you can follow me. The market says the property is worth $100,000. What you want to do, you want to sell it to someone later on for $70,000. So what you would now do, you would subtract how much money you want to make on the deal. How much you want to make on the deal? Let's say, I want to make $20,000 on the deal. So you're going to subtract another 20, right? So now we had $50,000. So the maximum price I'll pay for that property is $50,000. And if I want to pay the maximum price, $50,000, I'm going to go in through the door and deal with that seller by offering a price of maybe 30. And if 30 doesn't work, we can work all our way up to 50, but I'll not exceed 50. Now, what I'll do by purchasing that property, let's say I purchase that property for $50,000. I take that property on the contract. I have the contract here. Okay, I got a contract right here, $50,000. I'm going to take this contract right here and assign it to the investor over there. And that investor, I'm going to sell this property to him for $70,000. I just made a $20,000 spread. Now he's going to buy it from me. Why? Because there's a lot of meat on the bone, and the retail price for this property is $100,000. So I'm going to sell it to an end buyer for $70,000, and he's going to take it, fix it up, probably put maybe $5,000 into it or $10,000. And once he fixes it up, he's going to put it on the market for sale and make his spread between 80,000, and 100,000.
So tell us something, Bernard, as a successful real estate investor, right? There's so much more going on. I need for us to not digress, but let's come off of real estate for a moment, right? Because before we run home, I promised was only to keep you for 15, 20 minutes, and you've been here for way longer than that. So
there's a Caribbean 15 minutes.
I heard Jim Rohn say something sometime. He said, set a goal to become a millionaire, not so much for the money, but for the person you become in the process. Let me repeat that. Set a goal to become a millionaire, not so much for the money, but for the person you become in the process. I know all of this is not just real estate for you, Bernard, and even for those trying to get into real estate, there are a lot of other things that we need to pay attention to. So before you go, before we close out, I'd like for you to cover a couple things for me. Tell us about some rituals that one needs to practice in his or her personal life in order to become successful.
Here's what you have to do. And that's a really good question because that's a mindset question. And I think mindset is a very high percentage of it. And I think that's what holds people back from becoming successful because they're not operating off a mindset that will allow them to grow to their full potential. And for example, I wake up every morning at about 5 o'clock. Right? And why do I wake up? Because you want to wake up before the world wakes up, because there are certain things you have to get ready for. You have to get your mind ready, and you have to get yourself ready in terms of your physical body ready. So it starts with jumping up out of the bed in the mornings, quickly brushing my teeth, drink lots of water, and head out to the gym. Once I leave the gym, I come back in, I say some affirmations, and I read something on the bookshelf over there for about 30 minutes. Once that's done, I get a phone call from my role play partner that I role play every morning with. I have a script that I also follow as well. And I speak to a coach once a week. And once that's done, I have something to eat, and then I get on the phone. And it's done every single day, except Sundays I do it a little later during the day, or on Saturdays during the day. But it's done every single day. Nothing will take me away from that. My family know that I will be on the phone and I'm working. And I'm very disciplined about it, because after a while, right, you figure out your value. You figure out how much you're worth an hour, because what you do, you just take the total dollar amount that you make and divide it by the hours that you work. Once you divide it by the hours that you work, you know that you work X much. If you work $50, you're worth $50. If you work $300, you're worth $300. So for me to spend time speaking to someone and doing something that's not moving me forward, spend an hour is just throwing money out the window, $300 out the window, my value. So there are certain things that must be done every single morning. Up early, exercise, drink some water, role play partner on the phone, read something, eat a healthy breakfast, get on the phone behind me. It's right here. I have lots of computers behind me. You see what's going on back here, phone calls. Speaking to my
very important. Looks very, very important.
Speaking to my virtual assistants, people that works for me outside of the country. I outsource, my business, and they're working as well because they're working a different time zone. And every single day it happens, but you have to be disciplined about it. Most people are not disciplined. Most people dabble in life. They say they're going to do something, and they start it at first. And slowly it just disappears in a very short period of time. It takes 66 days to form a new habit. And most people within the first month, they fall apart and they won't do it again. And they're not disciplined enough. They're not persistent. They want things easy. And when I started out in real estate, it wasn't easy. It was really tough, but I stuck with it and just went through the process and went through the motions until I saw the results. So there's just things you have to do in the morning. Yeah, I got into personal development, and there's a lot of things that I do, and it has changed my life significantly.
Any closing questions for Mr. Campbell, Karin?
Your coach, is that for personal development, or is for business, or both?
All right, so we have multiple coaches, of course. We have a financial coach that we follow. Right, we have a real estate coach that we have as well. We have a personal coach for personal development that's involved in our lives as well. So it's something that you don't have to have one coach. You definitely need multiple coaches, because we always have questions. I always have questions, and the goal and the objective is to continue growing at a very high level. Just keep growing, because that's what really makes me happy, is growth. To know that I'm going to be 1% better tomorrow than I am today. So as long as I grow and have progress in my life, I stay happy.
Sam, any closing questions or comments from Mr. Campbell?
I think we covered most of everything. Now, when you spoke about certain investors flipping homes, and they were flipping now, and I think it had to do with part of my question in terms of owning outright opposed to, keeping a mortgage where you can flip things. You spoke about some of the investors actually retiring. So in my mind, I'm wondering, when I'm retiring, should that property also be on a mortgage? Or if I'm retiring, can I attach a little sentimental to it, because now I'm probably going to put family there? It's probably going to be a place that on a long-term level. That was just a little question that popped up in my head, and I said, well, I wasn't going to ask it, but I said, let's throw it out there.
Right. That's a great question. That's a really, really great question. I just want you to know, no one retires out of real estate. So when I say retiring, I'm talking, no one say, okay, this is it for me in terms of real estate. There are multiple, I've sold quite a few properties for gentlemen who call me up, folks who call me up and say, hey, Bernard, you know what? I'm 93 years old right now, and I think I'm forgetting. So I think I want to unload all the properties that I have. And, we sit down and we have a conversation. But folks that's in business, that's selling a lot of real estate, that's receiving a lot of high income from real estate, don't really retire. Most people are retired, someone that really owns a job. Owns a job, but work for a job. They have a job that works for a company, or, work for someone, whether they work for the city or work for the state. I mean, I know quite a few people that work for the state, police officers. They retire at 65 when they go home. But most businessmen who owns a business at 65, they're not retiring. They enjoy what they do. You own a business. It's 1099. You own multiple units, and you're going to continue to run your business until you think probably it's time, and you probably leave that business to your kids or whoever, or a foundation or whatever. But most people that owns their own business, and it's a very successful business like real estate, and it's a profitable business, they do very well, will not retire. I've met a lot of folks who said, well, I used to be in real estate. I know what happened. They didn't do very well in real estate. They didn't do very well. I meet them all the time. And then I meet another guy who said, listen, I go Google my name and look me up. I'm 89 years old, but look me up. And then I said, woo, you understand? So I just want you to know that there's no retiring once you have a profitable business, so Sam Archer. So you can start investing in real estate and start house hacking, purchase, a fourplex, and then purchase something else after that. And then I don't know if you have kids or if you have whoever you have, you can just leave it, put it in a will, put it in a trust. So it doesn't have to go in probate. A lot of people make that mistake though. They don't put properties in a trust. So what happens, they pass away and it's in probate, and time and money eats up that, and it's going to the state because they have to sit there because they die and they don't know where the money is going. But you can actually speak by putting a living trust in your property. And highly successful people put their properties. I know I'm giving you extra information, but I don't want to go too far.
Good stuff.
But you can put your property in a trust so you don't have to go through any probate at all. So when you pass away, you can actually give that property. You can have in your trust who you want to get that property. Or if you have a large asset and it's a very expensive asset, you want to put it in a trust. So if someone sue you, you own nothing because you don't own the property. The trust owns the property. You're just a beneficiary of that trust. So they look you up because, if you do something that's out of place, the first thing the attorney is going to look to see what you own. And if they see that you own nothing, probably won't sue you. So if you can tie up your property in a trust, which most successful people, like for example, if you try to sue Bill Gates right now, it's going to seem like it appears as though he's broke. You're not going to see anything. There's nothing in his name, right? So put your asset in a trust, put your business in a trust, and don't retire. Just keep working. All right. So, and same for you, Curtis. Just keep working, and it's not time for retirement right now. I don't know if you agree with me, but you retire when you die.
Notice what he said, people. He said keep working. He never did say keep working hard. Too many of us tend to focus on working hard. We do everything hard. We work hard. Everything is about hardship. And we need to change that mindset. Everything is about mindset. We need to change that mindset and quit looking to do everything hard. So tonight,
if they want to come work for me, they can. If they want to come work for me, they can. I'm always hiring people. Come work for me.
So, Mr. Campbell, I just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I promised was to keep you for 15, 20 minutes. You gave us a wealth of information. It's been well over an hour. I want to say it's always a pleasure sitting and talking with you, learning so much from you. And I always look forward to meeting with you. And I hope somewhere in the future, when you buy another multi-family unit, you can come again and give us that mischievous smile that you gave us tonight. When you
Cheshire cat.
Yeah, like what Karin you always say, like the cat who stole the what? Yeah, he gave that mischievous smile when he spoke about that money. Yeah. So what I'd like to say, there are a lot of things that poor people are doing that are actually keeping them poor. Make sure you're not one of them. We have to learn, not just learn from the intelligent ones, not just learn from the rich ones. We can learn from the poor ones. We can learn from the beggar on the street and make sure that we don't do some of the things that they did in their lives to get them to the point where they are. Try not to duplicate their mistakes. Make sure you're not one of them. If you're in a rut, try to find a way to get out of that rut you're in, because like I said, people, that clock is ticking. That clock is ticking. A lot of us spend too much time on television, paying attention to celebrities instead of getting your own life together. So many people live vicariously through characters on television instead of getting their own lives together. Time is ticking, people. We digest way too much news. We digest too much information that's happening across the world, paying attention to affairs that are totally beyond our control, out of our hands. You do not need to watch the 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock news. You don't need to be that informed. You wake up first thing in the morning and you turn on the television. You don't need to be that much informed. Pay attention to your own life. When did coffee become so fashionable that it began to cost $995 a cup? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Some of that money can be diverted, redirected toward investment. We claim that we have no money, but look at where the money is going. We all have money. It's where we put it, where we spend it, how we choose to use it. Redirect some funds in your life, redirect some of your energy, redirect your attention. It is easy for someone to start a business today, people. Start a business and mind your own business. It's been a pleasure, people. Peace and blessings.
Bless.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training, and I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, I have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chatt? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chatt. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chatt.